And hello, people. We are back for another week of Anime4ALL podcast. I am again alone. My co-host had some pressing things that he needed to take care of. Um, According to him, he should be back next week, so we'll see. Also, you can probably tell by the title of this particular episode of the podcast, we're only talking about one show. Um, that is My Hero Academia. Essentially the episode that titled Dobby's Dance. It's the episode that reveals a lot. Well, I guess reveals what probably a vast majority of the fan base who just watches the anime was probably thinking was that Dobby was in fact Endeavor's dead son, Toya. Um he was dead because apparently he wasn't dead. Um we found out that the exact nature of uh of his demise, quote unquote, because as Dobby, I guess just we're gonna just get into it. We're gonna probably sorry, it's probably won't matter to like the podcast after the fact, but the podcast in in progress right now. I'm losing frames, internet is dropping. I don't know what's gonna do to the quality of my voice, but I can't control that, unfortunately. So we're pushing forward. I guess we'll back up. We'll talk about Dobby near the end of this video because, again, because it's just me, it's not going to be that long of a video. I have a set, concise amount of information I want to dump on you, and that'll be it. I suspect this video will probably be 30 or so minutes. So, very short, concise video. But the episode pretty much starts off with the continuation of the last episode where Uraka and Toga were fighting. Essentially, we have the summarization of what Uravity wants to do, which is save as many people as she wants. Toga doesn't completely understand this. They had a confrontation. She ends up stealing Uraraka's gift from Deku from the Christmas party all those episodes ago. And Toga essentially just asked, like, this is something from somebody you care about. And they completely just directly asked the question, this is someone from who you like, and it's Deku, isn't it? Uravity confirms this kind of, and what ends up happening is Toga herself reveals that, there's people in her life that she liked and who she wanted to protect. One of them being Twice, rest of his soul. Who I was always wondering what her relationship with him was, but I was never knowing. Twice may have looked at her as somebody he was in love with, but it looks like Toga's love for Jin Twice only went as far as an older brother. And that to me made sense. I couldn't imagine her actually being in love with him, but you never know. Would I have been for that? Sure. I mean, why not? I've seen crazier pairings. Um, Knowing that Toga's apparently 17, I think is what her official age is 17 years old. Jin is like 30. I mean, marriages in Japan are looked at differently. Most women end up getting married at a very young age. Legality over there is much different. She live in 1 year away from American legality, so there's that. But it was really interesting to see that's how she viewed it Twice. And as she is talking, we also start seeing her tear up a little bit. It looks like we're trying to get some other emotions out of Toga finally a little bit. I believe she has confirmed what she wanted to confirm by this point. And as confirming is happening, Frobby jumps into the fray and essentially catches as Toga's about to stab Uraraka after telling her that she used her quirk to kill somebody. Froppy jumps in out of nowhere, it stops her. Robert jumps out of nowhere to stop her. Essentially, that those togas pulling out the rails, and as this is happening, Gigantomachia is running through the city now that where they're at, where all this stuff is going down. You know, events are going down. It's a go time, and that because of how big he is, he ends up causing a quake as he's running by, which is kind of funny that he doesn't destroy the building that they're in. I'm guessing maybe he must realize that Toga's in there, so he's gonna avoid it as best he could. And then the rumbling, they lose track of her. Uraraka gets her All Might keychain back, and Toga's gone. Farabi believes that she's still in in the building. Uraraka confirms that no, she got away, and we see that she's running on the rooftops like a ninja, and she's telling the group that she's coming back. And that pretty much ends the confrontation. This much I had to say about that. Again, that ended pretty quickly. I think they're really wanting to put Uraraka in front of Toga, and probably Froppy as well. I mean, Deku couldn't even really get a good grasp on her, which is even more interesting. So I don't know if the intent is to show that we're gonna have Toga's demise happen in front of Uraraka, because she's had a lot of confrontations with Uraraka over the course of the show, questioning her how she feels about Deku. It's very clear that I think they're trying to set up something with those two specifically. And Froppy, who knows? Maybe there's something going on with Froppy. I did forget that Froppy did in fact meet her in the woods, so what does that mean? Does she have Froppy's blood? That's a good question, actually. I wonder if she has Froppy's blood. Okay, when we move on from there, and then the crux of this entire episode is Dabi and his confrontation with Endeavor. In between that, there's a lot of others going on, such as like after Gigantomachia gets here, he ends up saving Shigaraki, and the League of Villains is wondering what's going on with happening to Shigaraki. Shigaraki seems to be on his near his deathbed. It's going to confirm that Shigaraki is near literally falling apart. Apparently, the fight really whittled him down from being hit with One For All at 100%, and then also getting hit with Prominence Burn. So essentially, Shigaraki is down for the count now. They're trying to wake him up because he's apparently knocked out. And then Dabi joins the fight. And the first thing he does is... At first I couldn't tell what he was shaking. I thought he was shaking a paint can. I was like, what's he shaking a paint can for? And it's found out that he's just shaking a bottle of water that he pours on his hair, revealing that his hair has been dyed this entire time. He's confirming here for the first time ever that he is in fact Endeavor's lost son, the first son of Endeavor. He tells an entire backstory about how he was born, or at least what he believes is to be true. Because that's somebody confirmed that apparently there's a lot more going on with Dabi, and his relationship with Endeavor, and his psychosis or whatever. I guess we'll learn more as that's going on. I guess we're now starting the new arc, which is going to be, I guess, taking care of Dabi, whatever that means. We learn a lot about Dabi and everything's going on here, such as he was the first son Endeavor had when he got married to his wife. Apparently he knew about Endeavor's want to make the ultimate super child to be able to beat All Might back in the day. He confirms that that he was kind of Endeavor says that when this happened he didn't get the court that he was looking for, but he was willing to to settle with Toya, because Toya had way more potential than he ever did, and that gets kind of confirmed near the end of the dang episode. How much potential he definitely did have. Um, he has way more firepower than Endeavor. He apparently has way more control, stamina, but he lacks the ability to cool himself off. So when he makes a hot flame, he can't regulate his own temperature. So apparently he burns himself. That's kind of crazy. Endeavor has a temperature problem. He can't like exert himself too much, or he'll overheat. If it sounds like what Endeavor's got going on with his body and what Toya's got going on with his body is completely different. Um, but apparently Toya's firepower is just 10 times better than his, I'm guessing. Uh, Toya just starts like hammering in. Oh boy. Toya starts, sorry for yawning, had a long day. Toya himself just starts hammering in that essentially he is Endeavor's son. He got a paternity test taken care of. He actually ends up making a what do you call those tapes that like serial killers like let out in the public after they start killing? Like, I forgot the name of it. It's like it's some type of like list or whatever. Well, not list, but you just a video explaining everything. It's kind of like Saw. Like you want to play a game. Uh, he just starts explaining that like where he came from, the entire history of the Endeavor family. He ends up even like another interesting bit of trivia, well, not trivia, but information that Ox's father was a big time criminal, and in order to not be I guess for the opponent to see him in, a certain way, Hawks like kept his name secret. This is intriguing. I'm actually kind of curious if this is true or not. Hawks is kind of like down for the count right now. We'll probably there's gonna be a huge fallout from this. Once this is all said and done, it's gonna be a huge fallout. Endeavor's credit is gonna be probably in question too, because I'm pretty sure Endeavor made sure he went through painstaking list to make sure that none of this ever like got out in the public. It seems kind of interesting though, like even with this, his children hate him. It's surprising that his children never went out of their way to try to discredit their father. That's the one thing I'm actually kind of interested in now. Now that I'm actually thinking about it, is like Natsu Fumi. They had all the chances in the world to discredit their father, but they never did. Not even Shoto Todoroki. Seems so weird to me that like there's like various opportunities that they could have went to discredit him, but they never did. But they make you want to believe that they don't like him. But it kind of begs the question, like, how much of that is true, how much of that is false? Have they been, over the years, slowly coming around? But back to Toya. As this is all being said and done, the tape is being rolled, everybody that's important to this entire situation is seeing it. The mother is seeing it from her psychiatric ward. I can't even imagine what she's going through right now. Fuyumi seeing it, apparently at her job. Natsu's seeing it. The look boy who we never did learn his name, but his name is Natsu too. I guess it's the first one's Natsuo. His name is Natsu. He's seeing it. He's having trouble believing everything that's being said about Endeavor being evil person. We learned from Endeavor through a mind monologue that what happened was apparently there was a big fire over where Endeavor used to train. The wind was dry. It was apparently very wintry. Endeavor went in there looking for him and didn't find him. Apparently there was a lot left. Apparently there was so much. The flames temperatures were like 2,000 degrees, and he had assumed that everything was burned. They were only able to find a jawbone. But it's quite clear that Toya is still alive. So I'm actually kind of curious, what bone did he find? It's also clear that Endeavor feels remorse because he has a shrine to his first son in his house, and he sits in front of it every now and then. I guess praying over it. Endeavor. This is apparently also the most interesting thing as well. Endeavor, as he's seeing this, and information is being poured in his head, Endeavor is just stunned. He's unable to move. it must just be the shock of it all that seeing that his firstborn is still alive. It's you also see Shoto reacting too, and he's like freaking out, panicking, breathing really hard. I'm guessing he's having a hard time believing what's going on here. And as as Dabi finishes his monologue, he pretty much says like, "I want to discredit you. I want to take you to hell with me." And jumps off a Gigantomachia and does something that I was not expecting. Uh, Replicating Prominence Burn, and yeah, does it so effortlessly. It's not even like it's no contest. It takes Endeavor a lot to be able to bring out the flame power necessary to dupe his signature move. All Dabi does is just clap, and then the flames come out, and as he's falling, and he's just doing Prominence Burn. Um, Now honestly, he does say Prominence. So he doesn't get the last word out, but I am assuming that it's Prominence Burn. It could be something completely different, like Prominence Phoenix or something like that. He just has way more firepower at his disposal than Endeavor does. And that essentially ends the episode. Shoto is trying to tell his father to get out of the way and help him protect Deku and everybody. I find it interesting that instead of Shoto calling him Endeavor, he calls him Dad. I think it's one of the few times in the entire show where Shoto calls Endeavor father. Um, you very rarely he chooses his words correctly all the time when he's around him. He always calls him by his hero name, never his father. But in that moment, he calls him his father. I'm wondering if, like, in all this moment and stuff like that, maybe Shoto's feeling bad for him because, like, the entire family thought that he was dead. Only for him to come out now saying that not only has he killed like 20 people so far, um, so far being the term he's using, so he's gonna kill more. But it just seems kind of interesting to me that Shoto is like he calls him father. I think there's an arc between Endeavor and Shoto coming up where Shoto is going through his emotions about Endeavor and everything's going on with Dabi and whatnot. And he has to make a choice if he's gonna like you know let Endeavor be his father or not. Um, Endeavor wants to be, but I'm not sure if he wants to be for the right reasons. He's tried in his effort to be a father to him, but it's falling on deaf ears, and who would blame him? He's done some horrible things, and one of those horrible things is coming to bite him in the butt. A very powerful supervillain that he created by being jealous of one man. Um, it's such an interesting thing that's going on here. I always had a feeling this is if this is ever the truth, but the Dabi was the son, this is gonna bring up an interesting little thing with the world in the anime. Like I never expected Dabi to completely drop the knowledge log that Dabi it was his firstborn, and uh kind of makes me wonder what the real circumstance behind the fire was. Did Dabi set that on purpose or to make Endeavor believe? Because apparently, Dabi had been watching Endeavor all these years. He even thought he was going to die during the Kyushu incident. Um, which, by the way, apparently Endeavor let blood back there, so Dabi took that blood and then did a paternity test to show that 99.99% he is his father. Now, usually those kind of tests you want to do like 100%. Um, Weird that they decided to put those specific numbers, though that 1%, doesn't really, I guess, doesn't really mean too much. Actually, let me look that up real quick. Paternity test percentages and whatnot. So never mind. So that's just the number of the percentage that it can determine what for what I shut up down that somebody is somebody's father. So that right there, without a doubt, Dobby is his father. I mean, dang it, Endeavor is Dobby's father. I mean, it's just crazy. Sorry, I'm just doing some information digging. Well, spoiling anything. See if I can't find some more topics to talk about. I guess the whole hair thing. I actually remember throughout like forums and whatnot, people talking about like, there's no way he's Endeavor's son. Like his hair is different. Well, they actually kind of explained that really easily. Apparently, as a kid, Dobby's hair was just turning white. It was red at first, but it started turning white. And I'm guessing at some point it turns all the way white. And then apparently he was just dyeing his hair. And not much I can talk about here. I guess actually I will talk about there's not much more to say about my hero. So I think I will talk about my feelings on Dragon Prince actually up to this point. And this will be my take on where I'm at in the show. And then when we come back actually we'll have Jock chime in to how he feels about the show, where you know where we are in the episodes, and that should actually help out with the lift of the episode. So, without further ado, we're going to be talking about episodes of Dragon Prince, episode 4 and 5. Um, well, I guess not really talk about, more like just explain, just give my general. Dragon Prince is actually getting really good. Where I am on episode 5, I believe, of the watch party. Wait a minute. Oh no, I'm on episode 6, so we're reviewing episodes. In episode 6 of the watch party. Oh, that explains. Well, we're getting close to the end of the season. That show is getting crazy. So far we've had the revelation of who Erebos is. That was like a big mystery of season 3, and glad that's actually getting solved. We also have another situation with the humans and the elves. This time it's with the humans and the Sunfire elves. There's a lot of things going on. I don't think that the marriage is the wedding's gonna happen, or if it does, it's gonna be a huge like falling out. The current queen's brother, has been showing signs of, doing his own thing, and that concerns me to a great deal. considering that the elves themselves are already very skeptical of humans. We've already had a human douse a flame of a rite, pretty much being very insensitive. I think that's interesting. Like, what's really going on here with the the humans and the elves is just like not no one side wants to understand the other, and I guess the theme of like insensitivity, tolerance is kind of like really very heavy here. It's almost a little bit too real concerning the real world circumstance that's happening in the world today as I'm making this podcast video. We have a lot of insensitivity in the world, and it's interesting they decided to take that and like throw that into their show. And it's even more interesting that like we have characters who want to see the world change, who believe in a brighter future, and these characters are both strong, independent women who want to marry each other. I guess their marriage is kind of like, and it comes from two sides too. Their marriage is like a sign of change. It's it sounds like a good thing in my opinion. Change needs to happen. We can't keep on like repeating same mistakes that our forefathers have. And this episode also kind of like shows that too, on the coin of like there may have been an immediate danger, but the elves told her that this is a sacred right, begged and plead to leave the flame alone. And it wasn't like the flame that I could tell was posing an immediate danger. If the flame had like caught something on fire, I think she would have had more of a reason to to put out the flame, but the flame was doing nothing. And you would think that a tribe of elves that usually use fire to begin with as their element that they derive from, they would know how to not set things on fire. But neither here nor there, she decides to douse the flame, which leads to a tribunal of the queen and her followers. And essentially, the human, I think it's Amaya, I think is her name, she ends up saying that she was going to be at the tribunal trying to defend her, but she realizes that she can't, that the human was wrong, in the wrong. Yeah, she did suppose that there was an extreme threat with the flame being lit, but not having an understanding that this one elf was just trying to express remorse and trying to mourn the loss of his mother. She didn't care. And that was like, I think that was like the biggest thing there, is the fact that humans were not sensitive to the elves' plight. The elves just wanted to live and do their things they normally do. They have rituals and stuff like that they have to that they perform as part of it's a part of their heritage, as a part of who they are. You can't just because it poses a threat, possibly push it into a corner to never deal with it again. So in reality, she got what she deserved, and she was guilty of this, and she was assigned by the queen to make a place where it's safe to do this kind of ritual in a campsite, which I thought was a good way to compromise. Maybe she was right that this campsite was not fire resistant, but actually she could make a place where they could have these things, and a lot of flames could be lit, and they wouldn't pose a problem. So now that's being built, that solves a lot of their issues right there. And the queen takes her, well, not brother, I don't know if it's a brother or not, but like her right hand up to a secret area where there's a tree encapsulating its seed that apparently it's going to grow, and it's going to change the world. And apparently the Sunfire Elves have been tasked with like growing this flame. She shows this in hopes that it would change his mind about humans and elves living together. Unfortunately, it speeds up the whole we need to removed the queen from her agency, which is really bad. I had a feeling this is what was gonna happen, but I was still hoping it wasn't. I thought that as this was happening too, he reminded me of Viren. Somebody who thought they knew better and was trying to save their kingdom. Like, it seems like to me that maybe Erebos might be looking for somebody like him. Who knows? We'll find out. Because he reminded me of Varen, and then a little bit of like what Erebos' like shenanigans were, which is talking behind the High Queen. This can only end bad. But as the series is going on, though, it's progressing really well. It's fast, actually. A lot of the points are being made. A lot of like the story bits are being progressing. It's very the Callum and Reyna and the Rayla and Zim and Ezrin are now on the search to find Soren because Soren got separated from the group. They find out that apparently the hole that he was thrown into was in fact the hidden doorway to the dragon they're trying to get to. We also find out that Soren got out with the help of the dragon that he named Squeaky, because whenever he scratched her neck, she squeaked. I thought that was kind of adorable. The episode pretty much ends with Soren back at the camp, not realizing apparently nobody's there, and then he apparently runs into Claudia, which is another scary bit interaction is going to happen. So I hope Soren is smart enough to know that like Claudia isn't his friend or sister anymore, and neither is Varen. I mean, we'll see. I think the problem is with Soren, he's very gullible. He's willing to go anywhere for his family. I hope that doesn't become a problem. That's the end of those. That's like the last episode that I watched at the end there. I didn't really talk about it here because I wasn't intending to talk about it, but I say, we'll just continue with this. I'll let Spirit know the circumstance of what's going on. We'll also talk about these episodes next podcast. So I guess without further ado, without like wasting you guys any more time, this is another very short, barely short podcast video. I thank anybody who stuck around to watch this. Sorry again for it being so short. I don't have my co-host here with me, so hopefully next time, the podcast before the Christmas holiday, we'll get him back and we'll be able to go out on a high note for this year. Happy holidays, and we'll see you guys next time. Again, sorry for this short episode. See you guys later.